Good morning, ladies, too few, and gentlemen, because I will talk about fashion. I talk sometimes at fashion conferences, and then I talk about technology because fashion people don't know technology. Or I talk at technology events, and then I talk about fashion because it seems quite an interesting but strange business, and we are only doing luxury fashion. So my name is Michael Kliger. I'm president of Mytheresa, and why don't I start with a little video introducing mytheresa.com. So I hope this works. So that's us. Lots of parties, no hard work. No, I'm joking. Um, Let me start by giving some really high-level facts about the digital luxury industry because it is very peculiar. It has some real advantages for us being a cross-border pure player, and some huge challenges being a very specific and special product. So the first one you should know is luxury is a latecomer to digital, um, depending on which consultancy you like to read. But the luxury industry is growing steadily. I mean, this is really an industry growing along the global GDP. But the share of digital within the personal luxury goods sector is still less than 10%. So this is a latecomer industry, and probably 5, 6 years ago, there would have been still people arguing, well, you can't sell luxury, you can't sell 5,000 euro bags online. You can, and thus our market is a very quickly growing market because the digital share will increase. I mean, these are Bain and Company numbers. I think they got it wrong. I believe the share will be much higher, but it doesn't matter. Even if the share only goes up to the 12% here, um, it's still it's still doubling. It's still doubling the digital luxury market. So huge opportunity for high growth. So it's a late coming industry to digital. There are many opportunities. The second important message is it's a global industry. I mean, I've worked in many different digital sectors. This is there's a huge advantage. When you talk about luxury products, they are global. A Chloe bag, be it a Faye, Nile, everybody knows what it is. It's the same. There are no nuances. So, just as an example, these are top 10 brands a season ago. And if you go into the other geographies, it's basically the same. It's not only we are talking about the same product, it's about the same trend. So, huge advantage. It's a globally attractive assortment, totally different from consumer electronics and even some basic fashion. It's a global sector. Ideally, of course, for us as a cross-border company. And growth is also global. I mean, this is highly correlated to where economic wealth is created. And so the big markets like the US, UK, Germany, and then the region in the world where most of economic wealth has been created the last 10 years, which is Asia. And within Asia, which is a continent, we should always remind ourselves that from Europe it looks like it's one continent. There are even 5 geographies, and China, by size, is almost a continent by itself, but there's also Korea, there's Japan, there's India, and whole of Southeast Asia. So it's a global product, but you actually have to operate globally because that's where the growth is. That's where people are demanding the product. The next message, if you go global, it means going mobile. So even digital being late, luxury being late to the digital sector, it's all mobile. And so it's quite amazing and fantastic. The smartphone usage, and I'm talking both browsing but also transacting, is outstanding. And there are geographies, and again, these are the geographies outside of Europe, where it's almost smartphone all the way. And just to highlight, on the left-hand side, you see how people view our newsletters, and you see the pure online, the pure smartphone viewers of our newsletter went up like crazy. And this is not something we have observed for the last years. This happened within 4 months. So smartphone adoption is gigantic. So global, mobile, and the next thing is video. We fundamentally believe video is the best way to approach our customer because the challenge for our product, it's pure emotions. I mean, we don't sell clothes. We sell emotions. We sell beauty, pride, youth, you name it. I mean, very fundamental emotions, and thus video being also totally smartphone. Most videos nowadays are watched on smartphones, but also a media that is quite easy to use to transcend emotions, far better than text. So very fast, high-level facts about the global luxury digital industry. Some facts about us as Mytheresa. We are a pure play, but we started as a bricks and mortar. The origin is one boutique in Munich that still exists, that was set up by a couple. They created Mytheresa, which is the luxury boutique, one of the finest boutiques on the continent. Then they went into digital. And this is not, they were pure retailers. They are not technically interested in whatever. What they did was they followed the customer. Customers asked about it. And so they created the site, the Mytheresa site. At that time, My was very popular to create websites. And so it's now 11 years that mytheresa.com started, and they approached it very much as a business and asked for it to be profitable and asked for it to grow. This was not an IPO story. This was pure retailers, and we today are still retailers at heart. We buy products, and buying products means editing, selecting. That's the core job of a retailer. And since 2014, mytheresa.com and Theresa are part of the Neiman Marcus Group, which are Neiman Marcus stores and the Bergdorf Goodman store in New York. So we are part of the biggest luxury retail group in the world, them being heavily focused on the domestic US market. So what are we doing? Why do we believe we are successful? And so we believe there are 3 reasons. One is, again, it is really about focusing on product. I mean, I will talk about what it takes to localize, but it is the product. People come to our site because they want the fantastic products. And again, as a retailer, your job is to pick the best products. We are not a catalog. A catalog is not a retailer. If we have everything on your site, you're not doing your job as a retailer. Then you really need a passion for what you're doing. We really love the products. We really love the products we are dealing with. And then you're dealing with some very demanding customers, so you better be good at what you're doing. So in terms of finest at it in terms of product choice. We are focusing only on women's. We're only focusing on high-end luxury. We are very selective. We do most of our business with a core set of very prestigious brands, and so we enjoy actually one of the highest AOVs in the sector and have a very focused assortment, which we will continue to do so because we fundamentally believe as a retailer, you want to be a brand, you want to create emotions in yourself, but in the end, they come because of your product choice. So the focus is really choose the best product, get the best brands. The passion part is about really collaborating with these prestigious brands. I mean, this is the most valuable next to your customers that you have in this sector, that these brands are willing to work with you. I mean, they're not willing to work with anyone. You really have to treat them with utmost care. And so we have, over the last 10 years, established very strong relationships. We are engaged nowadays with brands like Gucci, Dolce, Valentino, Chloe, not only in terms of selling their products, but also working together with them on marketing collaborations, on exclusive products, on exclusive capsules. I mean, this is where we see our partnership with these brands to create, again, fantastic product. We're also working closely with the brands to create marketing events, spreading the word about Mytheresa. And again, one of the beauties of our business is that the Vogues, the Elles, the Harper's Bazaars, even if their ownership is different by geographies, but these are the media you want to be online with and sometimes in print. So this is really about spreading the word and finding that really niche customer base around the world. And that's where going global is a challenge, because these people have a global lifestyle on one end, they travel a lot, but also it's not easy to target them. I mean, most media agency will tell them you can't target them because they're too small, too finite. And so we also like to collaborate with famous women, and what we like to call them is the Mytheresa Women. We have a series where we collaborate with the likes of Brooke Shields, Diane Kruger, Alexa Chung, and the selection here is, again, global attraction, being beautiful, but being much more than beautiful, having a cause, having something to say, having a talent that goes beyond just beauty. So as I talked about video already, I want to show two examples of what we have done in the recent months. So this was our launch campaign for Prada Ready to Wear last year. And again, the video you try to create here must exemplify what this collection is about. But again, you want to have global appeal. These are assets we use then globally. We have an online marketing team that is working at 50 channels in terms of 50 accounts, multinational Google accounts, Baidu, Yandex, Naver. So we have our own teams that then put that offsite. We have teams that create these in many languages. I will come to that. But we need global assets to promote these global products, and all these assets we do ourselves. We have our own creative department that does shooting, filming, editorial, and copywriting. And I also want to show you an example of a Mytheresa Woman, which we did with Karen Elson at the end of last year.
Real beauty is a real woman with life experience and with passion, and that shows on a person's face far much more than the sort of fashion standard you see.
So this was done together with Marnie, and so this obviously had more appeal in Europe, but we have also done Mytheresa Women's with Irene Kim and Stella McCartney directed at Asia, at Korea. We have done events in the US and Korea, so this is where the localization comes into play. And, uh, and most important maybe for this audience is operational excellence. So this is about creating emotions, creating attractiveness, but what you cannot underestimate is that this customer expects flawless service. I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you disappoint her, she's gone. I mean, this is a customer that is highly valued by all other retailers as well, and we are not dreamers. We know that she spends money with us, but also simultaneously money with many of our competitors. So we believe we need to be simple. They come to us for product. They don't come for us for endless inspirational content. That's our view, that's our positioning. So we try to have a website that works fast. So global networks for content delivery, for speed, upload speed is very crucial. We translate our website in nowadays 7 languages. And the type of product we have demands outstanding translations. We have our individual copy teams. So we have an Italian team, a French team, an English team, a Korean team, a Mandarin team that translates, but at the highest level. This is not catalogs to be translated. These are emotions to be translated. We have local currencies, 8. We have local payment methods like Alipay. It's not because this will make people come to us, but it prevents that people leave us. You need these services. Second element of service is when there is a need to call our customer service team, you don't put our customer on a hold line. You don't play stupid music to her. So our SLA defines within 4 seconds the call is picked up. And then if it takes half an hour, we don't care. There's no SLA for resolution time. The only SLA we care about is don't let her wait. Same thing on the warehouse. We have one warehouse fulfilling for the world. This is due to the high quality standards we expect. But if you order before 4:30 today, your parcel will be packed and shipped still today and delivered tomorrow in Europe and within 48 hours around the world. So having one central warehouse, of course, you pay a price for proximity, but the delivery capabilities of the UPSs, DHLs, and so forth are quite developed nowadays. But quality control is most important. We cannot afford a single item to be wrongly picked, not nicely packaged. These are all full-time employees working in our warehouse. So again, there's a different logic in what we do from some of the other e-commerce businesses. And I already talked about it. I mean, we are pure play. There are a few moments where there are physical touch points, and one of the most important physical touch points is when she receives her parcel. So we over-invest in packaging. We believe, based on customer feedback, that we have one of the best packaging, but we trace that. We have weekly Net Promoter Score surveys. We are quite proud of our results, but we are also very paranoid about any issue that comes up, because again, this is zero defect customer. One single incidence and she is leaving, because that's what she's used to, be it in a hotel, be it in her office, be it in her airplane travels. It works. I mean, she is quite demanding. She's a professional woman working hard to earn her money, and she spends her own money. This is our customer. And being a professional, being a hardworking, and often a mom, we offer her one solution, which is her love for fashion in a convenient channel. But it's a quite demanding customer. And so one of our principles is she's always right. You cannot over execute on her. I mean, it's so crucial to be on top of what she's doing, and unfortunately we still have mistakes today in all these operations, but we need to really adopt a zero defect culture, which is, I cannot stress, crucial. In terms of localization, so as I said, we have global content, which is great. We have global products, but we need to localize. And it's interesting, I often hear, but that woman, isn't she speaking fluently English? She may, but we offered our Chinese customers for a long time the opportunity to buy on our channel. When we offered Mandarin, we immediately saw 80% of our business going to the Mandarin website overnight. So she speaks English, but she really enjoys it much more if she can shop in her own language. And so these are the things where we need to be really listening to the customer. On the one hand, we have an easy task because it's a global product. On the other hand, there are these nuances, and this is not simply translating. I mean, you have to recreate the content in terms of the local languages because there are so many nuances you need to get right. And again, with this type of product, it's definitely not Google Translate. You need your own copy teams to do that. Social media is very important for us. And again, this is where localization is crucial. We are live on Weibo and WeChat. We are live on Naver Cafe for Korea. This is, again, where localization is crucial.
Please, can I make you aware in the digital payment
Thank you.
theatre,
So one last example of how we try to create social media that is attractive to our audiences. There's an upcoming capsule collection with Off-White, and we are at the moment launching these videos on all our social channels.
Merchandise the capsule collection.
These are snippets, but again, being in the mobile smartphone age, you can dream that you have 2 minutes or 3 minutes video content. No one will watch that. You need 15 seconds, and having Off-White, Virgil designing something for us, that's how we spread the word, and be it on Facebook or be it on Weibo or WeChat. And then we try to create her attention, her desirability. So that's where, again, our own creative team in Munich across 7 languages tries to make that right for the different audiences. So this is what we do. I try to stay in time, Andy, because you said we are going to do some Q&As. I mean, Q's for sure, A's I will see. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, brilliant. There's going to be someone floating around with a microphone, so put your hand up if you've got a question, and I'll just get us started, and if we can get a microphone over to here. So yeah, a few things popped out for me there. The markets you mentioned, the sort of luxury ones, where you see the growth is China, Japan, US, a few of the bigger European economies. Are there any other kind of interesting ones for luxury at the moment that you've seen?
Well, I mean, you definitely have to also mention Middle East, the whole Middle East region, which, again, you need to start by calling it a region, and when you get successful, you need to dissect. I mean, Saudi Arabia is totally different from the Gulf states, and there's even a huge difference between Qatar and Dubai and Kuwait. But the Middle East, the Asian markets, US, continental Europe, I think some of the markets we also try to focus on more, and people overlook as we look from Europe into these regions. Markets like Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, these are all markets, 80, 100 million strong inhabitants, amazing wealth creation of the last decade. And so there are customer pockets that we would love to serve. And we have, I met her once, we have an amazing customer in Myanmar. She runs one of the largest construction companies in Myanmar. So they're everywhere. It's a tiny slice of the population, but Southeast Asia, don't overlook that. It's a huge market.
Okay. Just one other thing from me. You mentioned about your typical customer is 30 to 40 female.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's any. Do you find any differences in other markets around the world? Does that change at all?
I mean, I think, let's put it the other way. Our ideal customer is 30 to 50, is a professional, earns her own money, is quite successful, often has kids. So that's our ideal customer. So we actually have better traction in countries where the advancement of women in professional careers is higher. So we recently did an analysis on the Netherlands, and we only looked at households with more than 100,000 euros. 85% of women working in these households are breadwinners. Only 11% of women in these households are not working. I mean, that's a country where it's ideal for us. There are other geographies where women have not yet achieved this level of professionalism, but if you go to Asia, in China, in Korea, I mean, at management level, it's women. I mean, actually more than men in many sectors, and that's our market. So these are the nuances. But if you give a woman an opportunity to buy a Gucci bag, it's global.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
I was intrigued by the example of China and the English language against Chinese language. And the question I came to mind there was, do you change the product offering for each geography? And if someone in China switched from the English language to the Chinese site, would they see a different product offering, or would it be the same one, just different language?
No, I mean, our system works on, you choose your place of delivery, and then you are in that channel, and then you can look at it in English and German, in Mandarin. It is your Chinese channel in terms of delivery. The product offering is very global, and so we don't change it. What happens is that the customer then buys differently, but you go on our website globally and you will always find the Gucci choice, the Valentino choice, and the Acne choice. In Germany, less people come to the Acne designer bio page, and in Korea more, but it's the same selection. And then we tweak our size runs. But again, I mean, it's a global size run. So we sell more 34, 35 in Japan, but it's the same range they pick from. And then we sell more 42s, 43s in Europe. It's more the customer defining and deciding. On the marketing content, that's where we differentiate. So which designers we will promote in newsletters, we will promote on the site. There are nuances there because some brands are more popular in some regions than in others. But the assortment comes from one warehouse, and it's the same. It's the same globally.
Yep, over there. I think it's on microphone. Yeah.
Just a quick question on, in the different markets, you've got very different tastes in, say, design aesthetics. Like if you're traveling in China, for example, the types of graphics you see companies using is very different to, say, over here. You said you localise content for your different sites. Do you do anything where you actually adapt the aesthetic of your site at all, or do you tend to go with a consistent look across your sites?
We go with a consistent feel and look and feel. One is it drives complexity, but also, I mean, what we sell in a way is, of course, European aesthetics. I mean, they come to our website to get the French designer brands, Italian designer brands. So it is actually, we have had feedback in customer groups that even though they like to buy on the Mandarin site, it is very important that there is a fully English or German website because they want to buy the real thing. They're actually happy that it comes from Europe, the package. So again, it's a specific industry we're working in. There are nuances. I mean, they need and want Alipay. They have some other preferences on how the checkout is supposed to set up. But they come to us for truly European luxury fashion. So having a certain look and feel and a certain aesthetic at the moment we feel is actually an advantage. But hey, this is developing so fast. All what I said today may be totally wrong in 12 months, so keep that in mind.
Okay, we won't blame Michael. I'm afraid we have to leave it there in the interest of time. So we're just going to have a quick turnaround now. In 5 minutes' time, we're going to hear from a Chinese specialist. So really interesting and very challenging market. So just 5 minutes, okay? Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.